All right, we're good to go.
Awesome. Happy Monday, everybody, and thank you for joining us once again for an in-home virtual tasting with a fun guest. Today, we're joined by the amazing Eric Darius. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. It was when I first met you last June at Brian's Napa Jazz Getaway. It's like, this guy is fun, easy to talk to, loves wine. And when we started doing these, I was like, Brian, put me in touch with Eric. I need to get Eric on here. So,
well, I'm glad
it worked
you reached out.
Yeah, and I was telling Eric right before we went live that the day he responded to me and said he wanted to come on, I was doing some inventory and we were deciding to re-release our 2004 Cabernet as a fun library pairing to go alongside our 2014 Cabernet, our current release. So I shipped him a bottle of each. And so that is what we are going to be showcasing today. A little bit of history with the old label, 10 years old, and a current release, 2014. The fun thing for those of you who are not as familiar with our wines, everything we do with Cabernet, pretty much everything except Sauvignon Blanc is estate bottled. So it's still the same vineyard manager, my dad, same winemaker, me, same fruit, same facility. So just different vintage and more experience as growers and winemakers. So before we tuck into this, Eric, would you be willing to play something for our listeners today?
Sure, let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll kick it off with a single that I released off of my On a Mission album, actually almost 10 years ago now. So we'll get this party started. It's a song called Uptown Swagger. And this should get everybody in the mood to start drinking some wines.
Nice. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what album was that from again?
That's on my On a Mission album from 2010.
Fantastic.
Uptown Swagger.
And people can find that on Amazon, ericdarius.com.
You go to ericdarius.com, my website, ericdarius.com. Also, you can find it on iTunes, Amazon, it's streaming on Spotify. Anywhere you can find music, you can find my albums.
Cool. Well, that's part of the fun of doing this is, introducing some of my wine-loving fans to, maybe have heard of you or heard of you in passing, or maybe new to you, and help them find a new favorite musician to listen to.
Absolutely.
So how old were you when you started playing?
Wow. I was actually 10 years old. I come from a musical household. My mom sings, plays the piano. My brother plays the drums. My dad plays the bass. My sister sings. So music was always, a big part of my childhood growing up. But I didn't pick up a saxophone until I was 10.
Cool. And just played in school bands at first then?
Yeah, played in all the school bands, took private lessons, joined this band called America's Youngest Jazz Band when I was 11, traveled all around the world. Basically a big band, 34 kids. We were playing Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Glenn Miller, old school Dixieland band, and we were traveling all around the world, performed at the Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland when I was 11. And then
at 11?
That, yeah, I've been performing since I was a little kid.
What an amazing opportunity.
Absolutely, and that really just made me fall in love with performing, made me fall in love with jazz, and that's why I do what I do today. It all started there.
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, I don't want to have you have to play after we've tucked into these a little bit. And would you be up for performing one more song for us before we jump into these?
Sure, would love to. As a matter of fact, I specifically handpicked this song because I wanted to pair it with our wines. So the thing that, number one, I love your wines. They're spectacular. So I'm excited to taste these two, the 2014 and the 2004, the Cabs. And so I like the old school vintage, the 2004 that we're gonna be tasting, plus 2014, which is kind of the newer school. So I wrote this song, which is a title track of one of my albums. It's called Retro Forward. So retro represents old school, forward represents the new school generation. And that's just all of my influences. The old school is the Stevie Wonders, Marvin Gaye's. You go all the way on down the list, Earth, Wind & Fire. New school represents Alicia Keys, John Legend, all the musicians that inspire me today. So fusing those together. So Retro Forward is the song that I'm gonna play for you, and that represents our wines today.
Awesome.
I hope you enjoy. Here we go.
Nice.
Retro forward.
You know, yeah, and you know, I think that is a song you were performing at a Napa Jazz Getaway. For those of you who've never had the privilege of seeing Eric perform live, at Napa Jazz Getaway, Wendy, our tasting room supervisor, she and I were pouring behind a table at the back behind the crowd. Right. And it turned into a fun game of, where'd Eric go? Where'd Eric go? Because not only is your music so full of energy, your performance is so full of energy. Right. I mean, you're all throughout the crowd, which really charges up the crowd too.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Engaging the crowd, just having a great time. And they're a big part of what I do. So it's always a great time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of engaging, let's dive into these and enjoy. So for those of you who are just tuning in, Eric and I are tasting the Schweiger 04 and 14 Cabernets side by side today.
All right.
Ooh, very interesting. I had not looked, but the tartrates, it's going to be hard to show, but the tartrates in the 04 have condensed so much.
Yeah, I can see that. Wow.
Yeah. It's like I was pouring it, and it's kind of nice when your sediment gets that stabilized with the tartrates.
All right. We are good to go.
Showing a little bit of age, a lighter color on the edges. And it's kind of fun, you know, you'd say retro forward, where we've got the more old school label alongside with our current contemporary.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. For my followers, there's the 2014 cab, and then back to the retro, old school 2004 cab. All right. So what are we going to taste first?
Let's start with the 04, get a little the more nuanced and subtleties of that fruit.
All right. Wow, the nose is spectacular.
Definitely, it's a little earthier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you still have that, there's still vibrant blackberry, dark cherry.
Definitely hints of cedar.
Yeah. There's almost, it's not vegetative, but there's a little bit of like a dried jalapeno spice, like you know, more like a crushed red pepper.
Yeah, I can definitely pick that up. Definitely, I can smell all of the dark berries.
I mean, it still has a lot of great color to it.
It does, and it's so smooth. That's one of the things I really love about your wines is it's just so smooth on the palate.
This was the third vintage that we had moved to 3 years barrel aging. So for those of you who are new to Schweiger, we're at a 2,000 foot of elevation above the valley floor. So we look down on the town of St. Helena, and mountain fruit can be so much more tannic and potentially overpowering. So we're giving it the extended aging, not to make the wines oakier or toastier, but to give them more time in that naturally aerated environment of the barrel so those tannins can soften, round out, and be more food friendly and more approachable. And wow, here we are 16 years later. This could age another 10 years easily.
Easily, easily. It has such a nice, bold taste. This would pair perfectly with one of my steaks. Wow.
It would almost love to be like an au poivre preparation where you get a little cream sauce in there, give it a little more fat and a little more unctuousness to it.
Absolutely. And so
it's
you guys,
fun to see.
This is available now in your library release?
Yeah, so we just started this month. We're going to do kind of we've done library tastings here at the winery for a while, and we decided, let's make it more targeted. Let's say, we've been making wine since '94, so we have quite an extensive library. Right. So we're going to start featuring a library wine every month. So this is the first time we're doing one, and it's the 04. And we have about, I think, 20 cases that we've made available for purchase in the month of May.
Wow.
And actually, I did not get a chance to talk to Charlene, our marketing person, but I'm just going to call the audible and say we're doing it. For any of your listeners who want to try these wines, we'll offer $10 flat rate shipping on 6 bottles or more anywhere in the United States, except Utah and Alaska and Hawaii.
That's awesome.
And Charlene just popped in. So the code, we've been doing initials. So I'm sorry. So with the initials ED, not the medical issue.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have made it. Maybe we should have made the coupon code Darius, but with the coupon code ED,
yeah, it's
we have
a factual condition. Eric Darius, ED for Eric Darius.
So yeah, $10 flat rate shipping, and the 04 Cabernet should be on the website as our featured library of the month. If it is, you found your way to schweigervineyards.com, you can find our phone number easily enough and give us a call. Wendy or Michelle will probably be the ones to answer the phone, and they can help you get this as well.
Wonderful. This is spectacular, Andy.
Thank you. And it's I want to see how that opens up. I want to jump forward from the retro.
All right, let's
to the 14.
From retro to forward.
Definitely a lot more blackberry, cassis.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Big pop of pomegranate.
Yeah, I can definitely smell that. There's definitely hints of vanilla as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, tastes completely different. And this is 100% Cab, right?
Yes, actually, both vintages are 100% Cabernet. I do have some vintages where it might be 2% Merlot or 3% Merlot, but the 14 is 100% and the 04 is 100%.
That's amazing. And do you guys source your own grapes? And
yes. Yeah, so this is all from the same ranch up here on the top of the Spring Mountain Road.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely younger. It's definitely, the acid is a lot brighter in here.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably the biggest difference I notice is definitely the acidity is higher for sure. It's brighter. And it's not as oaky as the 2004.
No, it's like, so we were talking about steak with the 04. Obviously steak would still be good with the 14, but I'm thinking something that would play with the acidity more, something like elk, like a coffee or mocha crusted elk tenderloin, seared.
Oh, that sounds good. I love how you can see the legs. You can look close, you can see those legs just streaming right down the glass. Beautiful. Both of these wines are really elegant. That's what I really like about them. They're bold, because I'm a Cab guy, so I like really bold, robust wines, and both of these are They're different, completely different, but I love the boldness that both of them have.
Yeah, that's my goal, is that, with mountain fruit, it's really easy to make a super tannic sledgehammer.
Right.
I want to have more elegance, more layering, more finesse behind our wines.
It's fun to go back and forth between the 2014 and the 2004. It's just completely different on the palate. Wow. Do you have a favorite between the two?
I don't know. I think it's more of what's for dinner.
Right. Good answer.
There's the age on the 04, it almost wants a little bit of an Asian fusion spice with it. Something, there's just a subtle, because it's so much older, there's a subtle soy aroma to it, soy sauce aroma to it that.
Oh yeah, this would pair beautifully with Asian cuisine.
This has kind of been my go-to pairing since I started these virtual tastings. I came up with a recipe for kimchi pork burgers. And the spiciness of the kimchi and the fat of the ground pork, I think, would be so interesting with this.
Absolutely.
Someone suggested a venison fondue that they had the other night that would be perfect for this.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
Where did you have the venison fondue? They're on the spot. Type faster, type faster.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. Do you cook a lot, Andy?
I do. It's kind of funny. I am definitely one of those people who Alton Brown triggered the passion of cooking in me. He hit that science nerve with me that, oh wait, cooking can be fun because it actually is. It's basically applied chemistry.
Right.
And it actually got me out of my comfort zone. And before you knew it, I was buying whole pieces of meat at Costco, doing my own butchering and breaking down. And it's a lot of fun. I need to start cooking and eating less. But
we all have that problem, especially during quarantine.
This is true. So, and it's kind of, I've been very fortunate because we are rural and because we're a small company. I've kept working throughout all this. And the nice thing is that we've been there for people who wanted to be able to drink at home. We've been able to, continue shipping, as well as, if people are local, Napa, American Canyon, Santa Rosa, we've been offering free delivery to their homes just to keep their cellars stocked.
That's awesome. I think we all need to keep our cellars stocked during this time. That definitely helps getting through quarantine much easier, that's for sure.
Well, and that's one of the things too that most of our business is direct to consumers. So we have a strong wine club following. We have some distributor partners, but it's helped us stay strong through this time because it's mostly about shipping to end consumers and a few key restaurant relationships. And some of them in Georgia are starting to open up again. So I am starting to see some orders coming through, but it's mostly been, reaching out to our customers and, hey, if you're drinking wine, drink more Schweiger and we'll ship you some more.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I love about your winery. You guys are so hands-on and so personable. And when I first met you guys at the Jazz Getaway, not only were the wines great, but it was just great just hanging out with you. So informative, just giving information about the wines. And it's really like a family. So it's great being a part of that. So thank you for all that you guys do with the wines.
Well, and what was funny is I think you had, at least that gig, you were playing on it was an unusual looking ligature, I think. Or I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's like, I was looking at your mouthpiece like, what is that? then we were nerding out on that. And it was funny because we were talking on the phone earlier about not wanting to play after drinking, and it's the one cure I found for that is that, because I do have this one band that I call my drinking band, is I started using these reeds that are Kevlar based, called Fibercell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, okay, I can drink red wine and play on a Fibercell because those things are pretty much bulletproof.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the other thing is that it's almost theft, not theft prevention, but nobody wants to play my horn because I play on a 6-star facing on a number 5 reed to hit the altissimo registers. Anybody else grabs my horn and they can't get a sound out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Paul,
Eric, Velva on Facebook would like to know, Eric, if you consider yourself a wine connoisseur.
You know what? I'm a wine connoisseur in training. I'm almost there. I've been drinking wines probably for about 7-8 years now. And I'm just passionate about wines, you know, almost like I'm about music. There's just so much complexities in the wines. I love to experiment, try different ones. And, you know, I keep learning as I go. So I wouldn't consider myself a connoisseur just yet, but maybe in a few more years I'll be there. But I enjoy some great wines for sure.
You know, I often say the most important thing is that you find wines you enjoy and you have fun with them. Some people take wine enjoyment too seriously and it's no longer enjoyable. They get too deep in, they get themselves too deep into the weeds.
Yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, it's either you like it or you don't. And so for me, I find so many similarities with wine to music, just the complexities, you know, like music, there's the harmonies with some of the marriages of the different grapes, and they come together to create just an incredible flavor. It's just fun, just drinking wine, and it's the perfect pairing with jazz. I think those two go together like nothing else.
I kind of went down the rabbit hole with John McLaughlin on Friday because we were talking about, you know, wine can be approached at any level of coming into knowing and enjoying wines. And I related to him because Brian Culbertson on his webcast about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he actually started breaking down the chord progression of one of his songs. And for me, it's like, wow, that's cool. That's interesting. There's no way I could ever do that with my left hand.
Right.
I can hear the chords and you can tell me the chords and I can solo on the chords, but there's no way I can actually do that. But I can still appreciate what he's saying.
Absolutely.
Was there a follow-up question, Paula?
No, but we did have William, our friend from Atlanta, also suggested Rohan duck breast with mascarpone polenta as a pairing.
Ooh, that sounds incredible.
I'll go for that
polenta.
one. So we'll you'll be cooking that sometime soon.
William, is that something you do, or is that an Atlanta restaurant specialty?
I know one of the first places I'm going to be going once we're able to travel again. I'll be going to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, the restaurant scene in Atlanta is so vibrant, and it's, you know, everybody has their own opinions in opening up again. And I know my friends in the restaurant world are struggling, and they want to be back and opening up their doors and serving people. And I think those who are doing it safely and responsibly.
Right.
And I just pray that everybody stays safe and healthy, because that food scene in Atlanta is probably one of the most exciting, vibrant things going on right now.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
So William's reply is at Haven, Atlanta.
Oh, love Haven.
Nice.
Haven started pouring Schweiger Cabernet by the glass in mid-January. And they were going through quite a bit of it, actually. They were having their staff is well trained, and they've got some amazing food there.
Well, that's definitely places to go next.
Yes, next time your tours take you through Atlanta. Now, is everything postponed, or do you have any upcoming tour dates announced? Or
as a matter of fact, most things have been postponed through July, but I will be at the Blue Note in Napa. July 25th and 26th, you know, fingers crossed, you know, God willing, everything works out. But I am booked to be at the Blue Note Napa in July, end of July.
Wonderful. Well, looking forward to seeing you there.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely have a glass of some Schweiger and just celebrate life.
Just want to stick my nose in these and see how they've opened up a little bit. Is anybody else at home? Did anybody else have any 04 in their cellar, or is tasting any of the 14? I saw, was it Inky and Dave, I think, had the 2012 open.
Now, would you consider 2004 a good year?
Well, short answer, yes. But when it comes to the Napa Valley, when it comes to the mountain appellations, in particular Napa Valley, our climate is so much more temperate. I think the concept of good vintages, bad vintages, is more of a French concept, because what is normal for the French is disastrous. And even those disastrous vintages for us, 89 comes to mind, 98 comes to mind, 11 comes to mind. Many wineries still made amazing wines from those vintages. We just had to work all that much harder to create better wines from those vintages.
Right.
But 04 definitely was a moderate climate year. It's actually one of the last years we made over 3,000 cases of Cabernet. Today,
Really?
we only do about 18 to 2,500 cases a year.
Wow.
We grow enough fruit that in a given year, we could do about 8,000 cases total production. And we were doing up to 4,000 cases a year of Cabernet. And the problem is, as small as we are and wanting to stay grassroots, we didn't want to have to be selling to Costco or to Trader Joe's or any of the big chains, Total Wine. So I have the privilege of being able to pick and choose what lots of wine I work with that get the Schweiger label on them. So it was it's actually by coincidence, but right about the time that we changed to this newer label is about the time that we started really restricting our production down to 4,000 or 5,000 cases a year, and let us grow more organically, more slowly. And today, actually, I had a friend recently ask me, he said, of what I'm selling in the bulk market, is it because of quality reasons, or is it because you're trying to control the production?
Right.
And it's mostly just controlling production. We are getting ready to bottle our 2017 vintage Wednesday and Thursday this week.
Oh, that's exciting.
And I'd say about 95% of what we sold in the bulk market, I was crying as I was loading on a tanker truck to go to somebody else's winery, because it was wonderful wine. I would have been proud to have it under my label. It's just, we don't have a sales manager. We don't have a sales team. When somebody goes out to work the market and host winemaker dinners, it's me, which makes it fun, because you're never going to have a winemaker dinner from Schweiger hosted by a salesperson. It's going to be the actual winemaker or the grape grower.
I think that's amazing.
The challenging thing is that this is typically the time of year where I'm on the road 50% of the time. My wife kind of gets used to not having me snoring in bed next to her. And this whole quarantine lockdown, that's why one of the reasons I started doing these virtual tastings is this is the time I get to go out. Well, it's like a musician goes on tour, as winemakers, we go on tour and we get to meet our fans, shake hands, and hopefully introduce more people to our wines and reinforcing those who already love our wines to love them even more. And so that's kind of a fun parallel between the wine world and the music world, is that it's sure we all love being at home, but we all miss being out on the road with our friends and sharing the fruits of our labors.
Absolutely, 100%. But both good wine and some good music definitely makes being home much more enjoyable. That's for sure.
Yes. Yes, and today being what it was when we were bottling, it started with my son had to put on the Star Wars soundtrack. But then the last 2 hours of it, we came back from lunch and I was like, no, we got to get in the mood. We were putting on some Eric Darius. And so we were actually, I think it was Retro Forward was the album we had on. And Wendy came out to say you were on the phone. Wendy came out to say you're on the phone, and we're all wearing face masks and respirators. And
wow.
What? And she said, Eric Darius is on. He's on. No, he's on the phone. No, he's playing.
That's too funny.
That's good. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, these are spectacular, Andy. Great, great wines. I'm so glad that we got to taste both the 2014 and the 2004 cabs. This is great.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when you're out here at Blue Note in July, you can come up and we can hang out in the tasting room a little bit.
That'd be
and
amazing.
get a little
So,
deeper into it. And yes,
Andy,
Paula.
we've got Terry and Elizabeth are enjoying, they Coravan the 04. They're saving it for Elizabeth's birthday on the 11th, and they're having it with rack of lamb. So
Oh, wow.
Terry and Elizabeth, you need to let us know how that pairing goes, because we always love new recipes.
Absolutely.
Rack of lamb should be stellar with this. I mean, because that herbal note I picked up earlier. Now, I'm not a huge mint jelly fan, but my dad, when it comes to lamb, has to have his mint jelly.
That does go really nice with it.
I could see that working with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have fun with that with some lamb.
Definitely. I'm gonna have to try that myself.
Just pull it out of the fridge and start cooking.
Exactly.
Great. Well, if we don't have any other questions, Eric, I will let you enjoy the rest of it. Where are you based out of? You down in
I live in Los
Southern
Angeles.
California?
I'm in LA. So that's home, and I've actually been home a lot more lately than I'm used to, because I'm normally out on the road. But it's nice to be home as well. So.
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and for sharing your music, and for talking about our wines with us.
Thank you so much. It was a blast. These wines are spectacular. If you guys aren't Schweiger Wine Club members, you need to be. Definitely check out the wines. And just thanks for having me. Cheers to you guys, and for all that you guys do in making beautiful wines.
Cheers. We'll see you in Napa soon. And, we'll just have to, I love the way you pronounce Schweiger. It's so close. You'll have to perform some Uptown Swagger.
Uptown Swagger. There you go. Love it.
All right. Thank you, Eric. And for all of you guys
Andy.
from home, enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. And we'll see you. We'll be back here on Friday with Yoko Miwa, 3 o'clock Pacific on this Friday, the Friday of this week.
Yes. It's hard to keep up.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Eric. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.